Food has not lost its taste yet. Some has changed its taste. Yeah. You guys ready over there? Beth? Bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'll call the February meeting of the East Hempfield Township Zoning Hearing Board to order. Members present are Mr. Hanson, Mr. Luce, Mr. Kyle, who's on virtual, and myself, Elam Her. On our left, your right, we have our legal counsel, Jason Hess, and our township zoning officer, Beth. I'm forgetting Beth's last name again.
Graham.
Graham. I had brain surgery, so I can do that. So. We also have present this evening a court reporter. We have 3 new cases for us and any old business that needs to be addressed. This board will hear each case in an informal manner without strict compliance with rules, procedures used in a court trial. We ask each applicant and any individuals interested in their case to step in front of the table and explain the circumstances involved in their application. Applicants may present their case themselves through their attorneys or other representatives. My fellow board members and I, as well as our solicitor, may ask the applicant questions from time to time during the applicant's presentation or at its conclusion. All persons having an interest in the application will be given an opportunity to ask questions of the applicant, to offer evidence of their own, and inform the board of their position on the matter. In the interest of a prompt and orderly disposition of each case, we ask interested people to refrain from speaking until the applicant's presentation has been completed and the board has had the opportunity to question the applicant. At the beginning of each case, people who are interested in that case should decide whether they desire to be parties to it. By giving the status of a party, that person will be entitled to receive notice of the decision in the case and will be entitled to participate in any subsequent appeal or rehearing. Individuals who are not given party status may nevertheless ask questions and present evidence, but will not receive notice of the decision and will not automatically be entitled to participate in any appeal or subsequent rehearing. If you desire to be a party, we ask that you sign an entry of appearance form at the appropriate time. And although each party will receive a written copy of the decision, the mechanics of typing and signing the decision will take approximately 4 weeks. We ask that each person who asks a question or makes a statement first state his or her name and address for the court reporter. Now, lastly, in the interest of time, I will administer the oath or affirmation to all applicants and to everyone and anyone who anticipates making a statement with respect to any of the hearings this evening. So at this time, would you all rise, please? Under penalties of perjury, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, please say I do.
I do.
Okay, everyone, please rise. We're going to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. For everybody's knowledge, not only are we having a in-person meeting, we also have it virtually. And we have a couple people who are on, one being one of our zoning members who is a little under the weather tonight. Okay, gentlemen, since this is our first meeting of the year, by law, we have to reorganize our chairman and vice chairman. So are there any nominations at this time?
Chairman, I nominate Elam Her as chairman of the board.
Do all 3.
Yeah, just,
And vice chairman, Mark Hanson. I nominate myself. And myself, for the treasurer,
secretary.
secretary, excuse me.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion made for the reorganization would be Elam Her chairman, Mark Hanson vice chairman, Andy Luce as secretary. Any discussion? Seeing none. Mr. Hanson,
In favor.
Mr. Luce,
In favor.
Mr. Kyle,
In favor.
and I'll also vote in favor. So the reorganization is taking place. Gentlemen, again, we did not have a meeting last month. So we need to approve the December 18th, 2023 board minutes.
Before you go there, don't we have to appoint our solicitor?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, well.
okay. Gentlemen, and I won't use my normal excuse I've been using lately. Can I have a motion for the appointment of a solicitor to the board, please?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to appoint the firm of Morgan, Hallowell, Cresswell, and Kane with our solicitor, Jason Hess. I think I got that right. Is that correct, Jason?
Close enough.
He's put his jacket on too. He's gonna.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Second of Mr. Luce. Any discussion, gentlemen? The motion is to appoint Morgan, Holgren, Crosswell, and Kane as a firm for our solicitors, and Jason Hess as the solicitor to this board of that firm. Mr. Hanson,
In favor.
Mr. Luce,
In favor.
Mr. Kyle,
In favor.
and I'll also vote in favor. That has been approved, 4-0. Okay, now. December 18th, 2023 minutes of the zoning hearing board. If there is no additions, deletions, corrections, I'll ask for a motion to support the board, to approve the board's minutes of December 18th, 23.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Luce. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Hanson. Any discussion, gentlemen? Mr. Hanson,
In favor.
Mr. Luce, yeah, Mr.
favor.
Luce. Mr. Kyle?
In favor.
I also vote in favor. Minutes have been approved by a vote of 4-0. Okay. Beth, do we have any old business?
Do not.
Okay, then first case, please.
First case is case number 2473, Hempfield Youth Association, 2200 Knoll Drive, seeking a variance to the fence height.
Okay, is someone, excuse me. Is someone here from the Hempfield Youth Association? Okay, is there anyone else here who wants to be a party to this case or on Zoom? Seeing none, sir. Please state your name and address for the record and proceed.
Jay Enoch, President, Hempfield Youth Association, address 602 Eagles View, Lancaster, PA. The case before you tonight is for a zoning variance to the height of a fence for a new baseball field that we'll be adding at Roarstown Elementary on the Hempfield School District property. I don't know if this.
If you're gonna point, can you point at that one, please? Make it easier on us. Thank you.
Got turned on.
There's a button on the left side or the.
There we go.
So there's two sections of fence. You have your backstop, which is the higher variance, that's at 16. And then you have your dugouts on either side of the backstop, and those are designated to be 10 feet high, both over the limit within East Hempfield Township, and that's the variance we're asking for.
So,
Mr. Hanson.
Jay,
Yep,
if I'm correct, field 2 and field 3 already exist, correct?
that is correct.
You're just gonna add field 1.
Yes, that is correct.
So you're looking for a variance of 10 feet for the backstop and a variance of 6 feet for the dugouts, correct? Or no, 4 feet, I'm sorry.
4 feet for the dugouts, yes.
Okay. Now this is that area where field 1 is going. That's where the old elementary school used to sit, correct?
That is correct. It's a flat grassy area right now.
Yep. Okay. And Beth, just to get this on the record, the zoning ordinance doesn't cover anything about athletic fields and fencing. Is that correct?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
The zoning ordinance covers nothing about athletic fields and fencing, correct?
I mean, they're under the same regulations.
Thank you, Jay.
Anything else?
Oh, just one other thing. You agree to send a letter stating that the school district will send an email to Beth stating they have your,
Yes,
That should be
I've shot a text message to the superintendent. He's going to send over an email to Beth and I
okay,
for the approval for both this one and the next case at Centerville.
perfect. Thank you.
Anything else? Quick question, field 2 and field 3, they already have fences?
Yes. They've historically always been fields there. We restored them 2 years ago. But yeah, they've always had backstops there.
And basically, they're the same height that you're requesting for this one.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Mr. Kyle, any questions?
I have none. Thanks, Elam.
Anything else, gentlemen? Jason?
Yeah, just one that it looks like you marked where there's gonna be a home run fence there.
That'll be at 6 feet. It won't.
So that'll
Right.
comply then.
Right.
Okay.
No. Beth, questions?
No.
Anybody in the audience and or Zoom have questions of the applicant? Seeing none. Anything else you want to add before we close the case?
Nope.
Okay, anything else, gentlemen? Seeing none. Okay, at this time, we will conclude case number 2473. Besides the application, take administrative notice.
2335 and 2371, please.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if both of them are for that property.
Yes.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take administrative notice of case number 2335 and 2371. With that, gentlemen, there is nothing more. I will listen to a motion if there is one. This time in case number 2473.
Mr. Chairman, in case number 2473, the request of Hempfield Youth Association for property that is owned by the Hempfield School District at the Rohrerstown Elementary School. Make a motion to grant the request for a variance to section 270-5.2 AA1. That would give them a variance of 10 feet for a total height of 16 feet for the backstop on the new field, and a variance of 4 feet for a total of 10 feet for the fences in front of the dugouts, as shown on the submitted application by the applicant, with our standard conditions. And the condition that the school district will submit an email to the zoning officer granting approval for the youth association to apply for this zoning variance.
Okay, motion in case number 2473 by Mr. Hanson to grant the Hempfield Youth Association variance to section 270-5.2.AA1 to allow a 10-foot variance for a total height of a fence of 16 feet for the, behind the backstop. And another variance to the same section of 4 feet for a total height of 10 feet in front of the dugouts as shown on the submittal by the applicant for the new baseball field designated as F1 with the following conditions. One, that the school district of Hempfield School District will submit documentation to the zoning officer indicating their approval of Hempfield Youth Association being in front of us tonight for this so requested variance since it's on their property. And two are standard conditions. Is that it?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Jay, just to make you aware, the two previous zoning decisions, I think they were both for cell tower information.
Yeah.
Those conditions will stay in place, but should have no effect on your fencing.
Okay, anything else? Mr. Hanson?
In favor.
Mr. Lewis?
In favor.
Mr. Kyle?
In favor.
And I'll also vote in favor. Mr. Enoch, your request in case number 2473 has been approved with the two conditions. Thank you. Beth, next case.
Next case is case number 2474 Hempfield Youth Association, 865 Centerville Road, seeking a variance to the fence height.
Okay, is there someone here from Hempfield Youth Association? Is there anyone in the audience and or on Zoom that wants to be a party to this case? Seeing none. Sir, would you like to state your name, address, and present your case, please?
Hempfield Youth Association President, 602 Eagle View, Lancaster, PA. Very similar scenario to the previous case. The only difference is the height variance that we're asking for in this case is 2 feet on the backstop, and that is the reason for that is that this is an intramural field and not a travel field. So that's why we've got 4 existing fields on this property already. This would be the
Okay. Questions? Mr. Hanson?
So you're looking for a height of 14 feet?
I believe the total on this one is 12 feet for the backstop, and I think it's only 2 feet for
So the height would be 6 or 8?
the height on the player protection fences or dugouts would be 8 feet.
Okay, so it'd be a request for a 4-foot variance, because I believe it's 4 feet is your maximum height in the front yard. Is that correct, Beth?
Yes.
And the variance at the backstop will go from what to what?
Yes.
14 feet.
Yeah.
That'd be 8-foot variance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you said in your application was it would be 14 feet, which would be an 8-foot variance, and that the requirement is 6 feet. So if you went 8 feet in front of the dugout, that would be a 2-foot variance.
Yeah, so in front of the dugouts would be an 8 feet, or actually an 8-foot fence would be a 2-foot variance. The backstop itself in this case would be 14 feet. So in that case, it would be 8.
Okay.
And again, the letter would cover. Okay.
anything else?
Nope.
Mr. Enoch, on your picture that's up on the screen right now with the new field. Did I understand you to say that you don't need the heights for that field because it won't be used by traveling teams or older individuals?
Yes, this facility right here is for all of our individual programs, and that is typically for kids that are 5 to 9-year-olds. At the other field, that's a travel field, and that would be kids that are 9, 10, 11 years old. So there's a difference as far as the families.
Okay, and I'll ask you the same question I asked. The fences around F1, 2, and 3, they're fenced, already fenced,
Yes, yes,
and that's been there.
yes,
And-
they're existing. They probably there.
Just want to know on the record. Thank you. Mr. Kyle, any questions?
No questions, but it's hard to hear the applicant this time on Zoom. I'm not sure why, but
I don't think that mic's on.
thank you.
Yeah, please. She has a bloody nose. She needs to get. a
Okay,
tissue.
we're going to take a couple minute recess. We lost our court reporter.
That's a lot. Try heat.
Just out of curiosity, Jay,
Yep,
this is off the record. Does F5 have a fence?
no. Are you saying a backstop?
Yeah.
Yes, it has an existing backstop. None of the fields at this location have a home run fence, but they all have backstop and player protection fences.
Right, I knew that because I drive by there almost every day, but I couldn't remember ever seeing a backstop at F5.
Field 5 is tucked away.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's usually where we have most of our vandalism issues up there.
Roberts. Oh.
Because I read over the conditions they would have.
Don't you remember that area has had tornadoes and if the kids are running, if that tower's gonna fall on them? So, you know, they went dark.
Oh,
Yeah. And also
Yeah.
drain that pool up in there too, so maybe we ought to put the.
Yeah, that's
If that
true.
happened, Pulls on that backstop. That tower pulls on that backstop. It came loose from its foundation because it's more than 100 feet away.
I couldn't. That's lightning and a tornado comes through. You go, "Oh, it's a lady."
And then why are they outside cleaning the tornado first? So everything will be knocking at your door.
Some people.
Yeah. That's the society today. Type send. Maybe I should. Yeah.
Before I hit send, I reread it every email.
You know what?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The other day I sent one that, you twice.
Mhm.
And, you know, I sent it and they responded and then I'm looking at what I sent. I don't believe I did that.
Yeah. But it changes it sometimes. I know on the phone when you're texting, it changes that a lot on there. It's just like, okay, I know what I just
Just
texted.
more problems with autocorrect on my phone.
Constantly.
On my emails.
Yep.
Off the computer, because usually they're not too bad, but
You're good. Try heat.
You okay? You need any more time?
Dry heat does that all the time. Dries me out all the time.
You okay? Okay, let's go back on the record. Jason, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Beth?
No.
Anyone in the audience and or on Zoom for the applicant? Seeing none. Okay, anything else, Mr. Enoch, you want to add?
No, sir.
Okay, gentlemen, we're gonna conclude case number 2474. And if there is nothing addition to be said or added, I will listen to a motion in case 2474.
Mr. Chairman, in case number 2474, the request of Hempfield Youth Association for a variance to section 270-5.2 AA1 for property owned by Hempfield School District at the Centerville Elementary School and Middle School campus. Grant their variance request a variance of 8 feet for a fence height of 14 feet for the backstop and a variance of 2 feet for a variance or for a total height of 8 feet in front of the dugouts with our standard conditions and the condition that Hempfield School District will send an email to the zoning officer granting the HYA permission to apply for this variance.
Okay, case number 2474, motion by Mr. Hanson to approve the request of Hempfield Youth Association to grant variance to section 270.5.2 AA1 to allow at the Centerville School campus of the Hempfield School District, a variance of 8 feet for a total 14 feet height of the backstop on field 4, as shown in their presentation. Also, variance, same section, of 2 feet for a total height of 8 feet for the fence in front of the dugouts, with the following conditions. That one, that Hempfield School District will provide documentation to the township granting their approval of HYA being in front of the board, requesting these variances for the fences on Hempfield School District property. And 2 are standard conditions. Is that it?
Yep.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
No,
Second by Mr. Kyle.
hey, waiting.
Any discussion, gentlemen? Seeing none. Mr. Hanson,
In favor?
Mr. Lewis,
In favor.
Mr. Kyle,
In favor.
and I also vote in favor. Your request with the conditions so stated for case number 2474 has been approved. Thank
You
you.
guys, I appreciate it.
Okay, Beth, next case, please.
Case number 2475, Yellow Cab Holdings, Pennsylvania LLC, 2007 State Road, seeking a variance to the sign regulations.
Okay, is there somebody here from Yellow Cab Holdings, Pennsylvania LLC?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Also.
Is that the gray hair?
Joining-
Okay.
joining-
His name is
Okay.
Andrew?
Yep.
Okay, is there anyone else in the audience and or on Zoom that wants to be a party to this case?
Sir, I didn't catch your name again. Can you say that again?
Seeing none. Ms. Freed, would you like to state your name, address for the record, and then present your case, please?
Name Kenneth Freed, address is 930 Mesa Lane, Collegeville, Pennsylvania. We are here seeking relief under 270-7.4 One, regulations for permanent signs. We are requesting a variance for our pylon sign, which 80 square feet is allowed. We are requesting a variance to allow us to install a sign that's 128.7 square feet. Or, excuse me, 128.5 square feet. Technically, the sign face is 99.7 square feet. However, when measured as a box, it's 128.5. In addition to that, we are requesting relief to increase the size of the signage on our building. By code, we are permitted 35 square feet. Due to the unique properties of this site, our building is facing away from State Road. So our sign would typically go on the front. We're getting our 35 square feet off the back of the building. So we are requesting 79 square feet to put a sign on the front as well as a sign on both sides of this building. If any of you are familiar with this particular site, it's right next to 7-Eleven. And our site sits 27 feet below State Road. So it puts us at a hardship because of that elevation change, as well as the unique way we had to fit the building onto this property. We're dependent on visibility for our success. Andrew, do you have anything you would like to add?
Yes, absolutely. And I first off want to thank the East Hempfield Township Zoning Hearing Board for hearing our application tonight, and to congratulate Mrs. Hanson, Lewis, Kyle, and her on your appointments. As well as thank Mr. Hess and Zoning Officer Graham for their help with the application. As my colleague, Mr. Freed, mentioned tonight, I serve as General Counsel for Yellow Cab Holdings Pennsylvania LLC. We are, by way of background, the applicant is a Wendy's fast food restaurant franchisee with nearly 80.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Can you give his name and address? Yeah, could you first state your name and address for the?
Absolutely. My
Thank
name
you.
is Andrew Tuck, Andrew. Last name is spelled T as in Thomas, U as in umbrella, C as in Charlie, H as in hotel. My address is 200 East 39th Street, New York, 10016.
Thank you.
Thank you. By way of background, the applicant is a Wendy's fast food restaurant franchisee with nearly 80 locations in the Pennsylvania area. And the group selected 2001 State Road in East Hempfield for its future development site due to the vibrant business community and its close access to Interstate 283. Construction on the property began in December of 2023, and we anticipate that the restaurant will be open for business by the end of March of 2024. As referenced in our application and discussed by Mr. Freed in his opening remarks, we are seeking a variance of the freestanding business identification sign, as well as a variance under the code of the building signage permitted. The property's topographical characteristics and extremely low elevation, as well as its narrow design, causes the applicant a hardship that is unique to the property. The property's base elevation is about 27 feet below street level and below State Road, which is the main road accessing the property, resulting in extremely limited visibility for vehicular traffic coming from State Road, which we referenced, I think both going north and southbound in the application that we presented. As a business, and particularly a Wendy's fast food business, our goal is to service the Lancaster community with sales, jobs, and a vibrant restaurant serving 3 meals a day, open from as early as 6 a.m. and all the way through to midnight. As we discussed, the hardship was not created by the applicant, but by the unique physical circumstances, topography, and the low elevation. A freestanding business sign variance, if granted by the board, and a building sign variance would be necessary to enable the applicant's reasonable use of the property and create visibility to the customers in order to service the general public. Due to the narrowness and low elevation of the property, the applicant's visibility is limited. Therefore, the applicant is requesting a variance, as Mr. Freed mentioned in his opening remarks, of the freestanding business identification sign, as well as the building signage. The signage variances, if authorized, will not alter the essential characteristics of the enterprise zone, nor substantially or permanently impair the appropriate use or development of the adjacent property, nor be detrimental to the public's welfare. In fact, will be a greater service to the public. As mentioned, the variance, if authorized, will represent the minimum variance that will afford relief and will represent the least modification possible of the regulations and issues. For further information, of course, you can reference our application that was presented prior to the hearing, as well as any exhibits that were included therein. We look forward, both myself and Mr. Freed, to answering any questions that the zoning hearing board might have tonight or in the future. Thank you.
Want to continue, sir? I presume. Or do we want to ask him,
If you have questions.
yeah, questions of Andrew?
So, I guess this would be a question for Mr. Toff. Is Yellow Cab own this property or are they leasing this property?
We are the tenant leasing the property from an entity known as Highview Commercial EH2 LLC, which I believe has appeared before the hearing board previously.
One thing I don't see is anything granting you guys permission to be before this board asking for a variance request from them.
I thought we had submitted something, but I have to double check.
Wow. Beth, are you looking for that?
Yeah, I mean, that was in the packet. If it was in the packet, you guys got it.
Because it wasn't,
I didn't.
I didn't see anything in the application that was given to us. I'm assuming that Yellow Cab also did not lease this property sight unseen.
We did not.
So trying to use the hardship as the property itself, when you knew what the property looked like, when you agreed to lease it, that kind of mutes that hardship, doesn't it?
I believe when seeing it, our intention was to create a vibrant business within the community. And obviously seeing the property and its low elevation was an initial concern to us. But we had felt that we could build a restaurant there and provide access to the public. As we began building and doing the site design, it obviously became apparent due to the layout of the building and the unique characteristics of the property that we would need to position the property where it would have less visibility than I think we initially anticipated.
Yeah, the reason I ask is because there are several other properties along that road to the south of there that I haven't been in the restaurant business myself for 15 years. I would have taken one of those properties over this one. One thing that this board tends to look down on is applicants using the property as a hardship when you, in this particular case, lease the property, knowing where it was, knowing that there was some issues being seen from the roadways.
If I may,
Sure.
as we got further along in the construction process, saw a positioning of the building on the property. became more apparent just how low this was sitting. Sometimes these things are hard to envision until you start building the property. And we knew it was low. We didn't really have a clear vision of how low it would be.
So your freestanding sign, why do you feel that you need a variance of 48.5 feet when you're allowed by ordinance to go 20 feet above the height of the roadway?
One of the concerns we have with the visibility of that sign is due to the positioning where we're going to put the sign. People are pretty much coming over that overpass before they'll see it.
Right?
And the feeling was a larger sign would give them more visibility, more time to acknowledge that the Wendy's is on their left-hand side. Basically making it easier to see, to try to avoid, sudden left turns into the site.
And I'm assuming, because it was hard to tell from your application, but your freestanding sign is only going to be a height of 20 feet above state road, correct?
Correct.
Okay. The building signs. If I'm correct, you're going to request 3 building signs, correct?
That is correct.
I can understand the need. Well, let me back up here. You're not putting a building sign on the back of the building that's facing State Road.
That is correct.
You're putting a building sign on the north facing side of the property that faces the railroad tracks. Why?
It's a standard design. I mean, we realize it's basically facing the electrical yard there, railroad tracks. I doubt very much they'll be very visible from the highway, but it's part of our standard design package. It's honestly, that sign is not a hill we're willing to die on.
So if you eliminated that sign, how many square feet would you be down to?
Eliminate that sign. We would be eliminating 29.5 square feet.
And so your total request for building signs would be
Roughly 50 feet.
$50 feet, which would be a variance of 15 feet, correct?
Correct.
I'm assuming that the building signs are going to be the standard Wendy building signs you see pretty much everywhere.
Yes, the side facing the 7-Eleven would be, the Wendy's script. And the sign on the front of the building is, the cameo, the logo, Wendy's smiling face.
Right. Okay. No further questions at this point.
Mr. Luce?
On the entrance on the state road coming off of 30, a lot of times when they'll put those, what's available at this,
Yes,
on this exit, who's responsible for putting the Wendy's logo on that?
that's our operations team.
Okay.
I know they're exploring that for this,
But they will put one on going both directions.
possibly, yes.
Okay,
But that's governed by PennDOT.
understood. I'm just asking. Thank you. That's all I need. Thanks. I know we don't have.
Anything else, Mr. Luce?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Mr. Kyle, any questions?
No questions at this time, Mr. Hur. Thanks.
Okay, I have one to follow up with what Mr. Hanson had started out. Your architects or engineers for this site with HRG, which is a local firm. I would presume when you were discussing this property with them, they would have had some inkling, at least, to be able to tell you that this property, even after you're done with construction or further along in construction, would still be below grade. I mean, although that interchange has been upgraded in the last few years, the height of that interchange has not changed substantially from what it was previously. So, you know, anybody from this area and HRG, be from the area, would know that that is a low spot in that location. I can imagine that's one reason why the gas station built where they built. So, you know, again, like Mr. Hanson said, I have a problem of saying that part of this issue isn't your doing, because the land has been there for a period of time. It hasn't changed in its zoning or anything. Of course, when they draw up the plans for the layout in this thing, that, you know, I just can't understand, and I'm not in the restaurant business or any other business, why anybody would put up any type of establishment that wants to draw customers that are passing by theoretically in a valley that can't be seen, and then build it and say, well, it wasn't our fault.
Well, HRG is actually the land development designer for Highview Commercial. They delivered the site to us, all approvals, fully developed, ready to go. So it wasn't like we had in-depth conversations with them about every aspect of this project.
Okay.
Can I follow up on that?
Yeah, please.
But I understand you didn't have in-depth conversation with every aspect. But I gotta assume somebody from Yellow Cab looked at this property.
Yep.
Before you committed to it.
Yep.
I mean, as I said, there's other properties along State Road. Yes, some of them are in the campus zone, but the campus zone does allow for restaurants and drive-throughs. So you would have been permitted to do the same thing you want to do here farther up. Matter of fact, if you're taking the property all the way up at the next intersection at Harrisburg Pike and State Road, you could have lowered the height of your sign and still be seen from everywhere because of the elevation change. I just have a problem. The increase of your sign for your freestanding sign isn't really gonna help your visibility at all, because you're still not gonna see it on the other side of State Road. And you're not gonna see it from 283.
No, you're not gonna see it from 283. But it'll give us sooner visibility from people that are coming over that overpass. Now, one of the things I did want to say is we are arriving at that square footage by drawing a box around the whole sign, which is typically how it is.
That's correct.
Actual pylon itself, the sign that says Wendy's, is 78 square feet. The logo is actually 21.7 square feet. So the overall actual face of the sign is 99.7 square feet.
Can you come up here a minute?
Yeah, sure.
So Here's your pylon sign. This part here doesn't count as part of the
Correct.
sign. All we're interested in is from here to here and here to here and up this area here.
Okay.
So what's that total square footage?
This box right here, 78 square feet.
Okay,
All right. This logo measured as a box is 21.7 square.
from here to here.
Yep, from here, the top of her hair, down to her curl cues on the
So
side.
you said 21?
21.7, yes.
So you're looking for a total of 99 square feet, not 128, correct?
Measured this way, correct, yes.
But I just have to clarify, that's not, the ordinance says you measure the square footage by the smallest rectangle that encompasses the whole sign. So the variance that's needed is for,
From here to here, correct?
right, that rectangle,
That
rectangle.
rectangular is 128?
That's 128.5, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else?
At this time.
Jason, any questions of the applicant?
Yes, thank you. I have a few. So, when you purchased the property, did you know that you would have to position the building the way that it's positioned so that the back of the building would be
Well,
facing
that
the
was a
road?
lease, and we were playing around with different ways we could do
Oh,
that.
yeah, I forgot you were the
Yeah.
the tenant, but when you entered into the lease,
Doug, I'm not sure about that. When we signed the lease, I'm the construction guy. Did we have the final layout of this when we signed the lease?
We had looked at a few different variations that we,
Yeah, but
With-
we were still
within-
playing with it when we signed. the
yeah,
lease.
to give just a brief history, with site developments, we're often looking for obviously areas that are close to highways, have good visibility and good access to traffic. And, something that can really fit in with the Wendy's brand standard. And the initial discussions around this property, I think, began sometime in 21, meaning 2021. There were off and on negotiations, and the lease was finally picked up again in, I want to say it was June of 2023, which at that time, Wendy's has updated building designs and elements and things like that, which had us go through a few different site variations, as Mr. Freed mentioned, plans and designs to fit in with Wendy's current national brand standards.
Yeah, initially, we tried to fit the building lengthwise along State Road. We just ran into too many problems with truck circulation around the building. The trucks, delivery trucks could not get around the building.
Correct.
It was just too tight.
and you mentioned that your one concern was trying to avoid sudden left turns into the site, so there will be
Yeah,
there
you
will
can
be
make it-
left-hand turns in there.
That entrance on the State Road is right out, but it's right in, left in as well.
Okay. So I think you said that the elevation of the site is 27 feet lower than the elevation of the road?
Yes, obviously, road slopes down, so it's different from one end to the other.
Okay. But where the sign would be, is that,
Yes.
okay? Your application says that the sign, where the actual sign is positioned has an elevation of 371 and the road elevation is 377, so the difference is only 6 there. So you mean it actually,
It's 25 feet, actually not quite 25 feet, 24 feet and 11 above the road, adjacent to where the sign is going.
yeah, I understand that, but I'm just trying to clarify. You said in your testimony that the elevation difference between the base elevation is 27 feet lower than the road. But where the sign is only 6 feet lower than the road? Because you.
Yes, yeah, it's a slope up. It's-
Okay, so it slopes further down
Yeah.
from where the
Yeah,
sign
it
is.
comes down to our elevation. Yep.
Okay, And is this freestanding sign that you propose, is it larger than what you'd have at other restaurants where there's good visibility? Or I don't know if you
This-
can answer that.
This is our typical standard sign that we put up.
Okay, so it's generally this size, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, the ones we typically put up is a little bit larger square footage than this because it has the reader board underneath. I don't know if you've ever seen them, the whiteboard where they put the letters in. We didn't do that on this location simply because store staff couldn't reach it to change letters. So usually there's another box underneath there that's 3 foot tall. That's pretty much our standard.
I'm sorry, Jason, are you done?
Yeah.
So the 7-Eleven didn't require any sign variances. Sheets didn't require any sign variances. So I just have an issue with the fact that you're trying to use the property as a hardship, and you knew what the property was and leasing it anyway. And this board has a tendency to not look favorably on that because you can't, it's like saying, well, I'm gonna do this. I want to do this, but I can't do it because the property won't allow me. So that's my hardship. Well, I bought the property. I knew what the property looked like. The other question, going back over something you said, this building sign on the north side of the building. You said you're not willing to die on that one. Is that correct?
That is correct. That one is less important to us. Obviously, we have to have the cameo on the front, but the sign facing the 7-Eleven, that one's important to us.
Okay. Thank you.
Jason, anything else?
No, that's all.
Beth?
No.
Just,
Mr. Luce?
just the sign you're talking about of not eliminating would be 2A that was in your application, correct?
I'll verify that. Yes, that would be 2A.
Just want to make sure we knew exactly what we're talking about.
Yep. Mr. Kyle, anything?
Not at this time, no.
Well, before we turn, is there anything else you want to add to your testimony? Gentlemen, either one?
Okay, anything?
No, I, again, just want to thank you for the opportunity to present in front of the board and thank you for hosting and hearing our case tonight.
Okay.
And the only thing, I would like to add is, excuse me, that's a reminder for me to take my meds. Sorry about that.
No problem.
I just think the larger sign makes it a little bit safer for left-hand turns coming in. And, compared to 7-Eleven, yes, they didn't need a variance for their sign, but they're on a hard corner. And I know code allows for this. They have a sign on both sides of their building. Freestanding signs.
Gentlemen, if there is nothing more at this time, we'll conclude. Oops, no, sorry about that. Is there anyone in the audience or on Zoom that has any comments, pro or con? Seeing none. So with that, and we will conclude testimony in case number 2475. We will take administrative notice of a conditional use decision, case number 15-18-CU-3. beside the submittal and testimony, there is nothing more to add to the record. Excuse me. So gentlemen, if there's nothing more to add at this time, I will listen to a motion in case number 2475, if there is one.
Mr. Chairman, case number 2475. The request of Yellow Cab Holdings for property located at 2007 State Road. I make a motion to deny the request for the pylon sign variance, but to grant them a variance of 15 feet, allowing for a total of 50 square feet for building signs, with the following conditions. Number one, email must be submitted to the township zoning officer from the property owner granting you permission to be applying for this zoning variance. And number two are standard conditions.
Okay, motion by Mr. Hanson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Lewis. Discussion, gentlemen. Mr. Hanson,
So, couple things here.
well, before, can I ask a question on the motion?
Sure.
On your granting of the business signs on the property or on the building,
Building signs, yes.
yeah, building signs. You said, grant a 15-foot variance for a total of 50 square feet.
For a total of 2 signs, I should add.
Okay, was my question for 2 signs. Do you want to stipulate where?
As presented in their application, be signed, marked 2C and 2B. Is that correct?
2B and 2C?
Yes.
Okay, and that answers my question. So, okay, you have the floor.
So, number one, I think the applicant has failed to provide a hardship to grant them a variance to the pylon sign. The fact that the applicant was willing to give up the sign marked 2A because it really wouldn't face anything, and the fact that the building is the way it's facing, I can see their request for the 2 building signs for a total of 50 feet, granting them that 15-foot variance.
Any other? Okay, the motion in front of us. Case, Mr. Hanson made the motion of case number 2475. The applicant Yellow Cab Holdings, Pennsylvania LLC, for the property at 2007 State Road, Lancaster, PA 17601, to deny the request for the freestanding pylon sign, but to grant a 15-foot variance to the overall building signs for a total of 50 square feet as designated in the application under as 2B and 2C, with the following conditions: that the applicant will have the property owner send documentation to the township stating that they had granted the authority to Yellow Cab Holdings, Pennsylvania LLC, to appear before the zoning hearing board requesting the variances and our standard conditions.
Yep.
Okay, any discussion, gentlemen? Seeing none, Mr. Hanson,
In favor?
Mr. Lewis,
In favor?
Mr. Kyle,
In favor.
and I'll also vote in favor. the request in appeal number 2475 has been denied and also approved as stated in the decision. Thank you, gentlemen. Sure.
We're okay with the height of this. It's the square footage of the freestanding sign that is the issue, correct? Okay, so basically, if I take Wendy's little baseball field,
That's fine. I mean, you can go
and I can push that up there.
80 square feet and you can go a total height of 20 feet above the road.
Excuse me, gentlemen, to clarify what Mr. Freed was saying, it's hard to hear on Zoom. The property under the code is still allowed one freestanding business sign of 80 square feet. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, thank you. Nothing else? Okay. Beth, anything else?
Oh.
Next meeting is,
March 18th.
Special meeting.
No.
no, that's
the
not,
21st is a
that's
special
the,
meeting.
that's the standard, then what, 26 or something special?
21st.
I was close, I was in the
You're
20s.
close, yeah. No,
Do you have
Monday.
any cases for March?
Yes, we have 2 cases, the 18th for our regular meeting.
Okay.
You did such a good job. Now all of a sudden you want to start piling cases.
I'm not happy either.
Okay, with that, then, we will stand adjourned.
You want to keep Mr. Kyle on so you can listen to what.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Mr. Kyle,
Yes.
can you just stay on after we adjourn? We're gonna talk to the solicitor, a couple seconds.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Night.
We are adjourned. Well, are we?